This is the widget section of your website. It is located under Appearance in the dashboard, and it is where you can control the sidebars for your website, as well as some other predetermined areas that cannot be edited otherwise. Just to be sure, the sidebar of your website are any pages which look like they're in two columns. The sidebar is the right skinny column. And as you can see, we have it split up into different sidebar sections. We have global sidebar, which is every sidebar on your site. We have just the sidebar on your pages, just the sidebar on your posts, blog posts, the sidebar on your rooms, the sidebar on your custom post types like activities or specials, and then the sidebar for your category pages. We also have some other sections set up like the pre-footer, which is a section just before the footer, footer main, which is a section within the footer, and then depending on how your footer is set up, you can use some footer columns or a footer bar just at the end of the footer. So just to kind of show you where all those sections are, I'm going to use a text section for right now just to test it out. And if I put it at the top of the pages, put in test there and save that. If I come over here to a page and refresh that, we now see that test, the content I just created at the top of the sidebar. Now if I move that over to the pre-footer here and refresh this page, we can now see it's gone from the sidebar and it's been added down to this pre-footer section right before the footer. Obviously it needs some styling to match the rest of the site, but this is just so you can get an idea of where it's located. If I come back to those widgets and I move it down to the footer main section and refresh the page, we now see that text within the footer section itself on the top of the footer, on top of the content that's already there. And if I move that down into the footer bar and then refresh the page again, we see it showing up down at the bottom of the footer. Next, you may want to create some content for those widgets. To do so, we have two options. The first option is to use one of the preset widgets available on the left side here. A lot of these won't be very useful to you, but some that you may use are the image widget to add an image, the navigation menu widget to add in any navigation menu from the menus already set up on your site, and the text widget, which allows you to place in text and edit it like other pages on your site, and also you can add in images. So for example, if I wanted to add some content to the top of my sidebar on my pages, I'll open this section up. I'll click and drag the block that I would like. In this case, I'll use the text block. I'll click and drag that to where I want it to show up. In this case, I want it to show up first at the top, so I'll add it to the top. I'll drop it there, and then I can put in whatever content I would like. Now we'll put in some test text. We can make that bold, just highlight it, make it bold, just like any other text on the website. And then I'll press enter to come down to the next line and then add some media. It'll open up the media library. I'll select what image I would like, hit insert into post, and we now see it inserted in as it will look. If I scroll down a little bit, I'll click save. And if I come over to a page and refresh, we now see that content as it was put in the widget. Now, it can be a little tough to style some of these widgets. So the second option to add in content is to use the sidebar sections, which I'll go over now. First, to remove the content we just added in, I'm just going to come down to the bottom of that widget, hit delete, and then if I refresh that page, we'll now see that content is gone. So if I come back into the dashboard, like I said before, I'm going to come over to the sidebar sections now. I'm going to open that in a new tab, and we'll see some sidebar sections we've already made, but I'm going to click on Add New to create a new section. I'm going to title it whatever we'd like, just so you can tell what it is, and then I'll put in some content. Style it obviously just like any page on the website, just like any other content on the website. So I'm going to make it bold, and then I'm going to center it, and then I'm going to click down below it and put in a new block, and I'm going to put in an image block. I'm going to select media library. I'll be brought to the media library, select the image I would like, click select. I'm going to center that image, and then I'm going to click publish to make the new sidebar section live. I will then come back over here to our widget section. I will refresh that, and then I will open up that page section again, and I will come down to the sidebar widget blocks widget, drag that into the page where I would like it to show up, drop it in, and then from this drop down, select which actual sidebar widget I want to show up. We just created a new sidebar, so I'm going to select that. I'm going to click save, and then if I come back over to the page here, refresh that, we now see our new content that we put in using the sidebar section. So a lot of people feel that is a lot easier to edit their content just like any other page on their site. Keep in mind you're editing your content in a wider area, and if you're using this for the sidebar, it will shrink down and get much skinnier. So that's just something to keep in mind. One other thing that comes up sometimes, I'm going to delete all this content. Say, for instance, you were trying to copy this sidebar section right here and you want it just to look like that, but you're having trouble. You can come over to one of your already existent sidebars. I'm going to open that in a new window. I'm going to come over to the cabin sidebar, click edit, and then you can just copy and paste all of that content and then paste it in a new sidebar to have all the same styling, and then you can just replace the text and images if you'd like. So for instance, I'm going to just click at the top of here. I'm going to click down at the bottom holding shift. It now selects all of the content on that page. I'm going to hit Control C for copy. I'm going to come over to my new sidebar, put the cursor where I'd like it, hit Control V for paste, and it now pastes that sidebar exactly as it's styled in the other sidebar. So I can come in here, I can change this text to whatever I want this to be. I can click on this image, I can hit replace. I can open the media library, find the image I would like, click that, select that image, and now puts that new image in the background for our new sidebar. Then if I update that to save that, now if I refresh this, our new sidebar will have the same styling as our other sidebar widgets. And again, if I want to remove that, I'll just come into the widgets section, come down to the bottom, hit delete, and if I refresh that page, that widget will now be gone. By default, when you place a widget into one of these sections, it'll be shown across the site. So if I place a widget into the sidebar page section, it'll be shown on the sidebar for every page on the website. If I place it in the pre-footer section, it'll be shown in the pre-footer section of every page on the website. However, sometimes you may not want this. You may want to hide it from a page or two, or you may want it to only show on specific pages. And you can easily do that, and I'll show you how now. So for instance, if we come to the contact page here in their sidebar, if we want to hide this View Cabins widget here at the top, I'll simply come into the widget section, come over to the sidebar page section, open up this top widget here, and we see that that's the sidebar cabins widget that we want to hide from the contact page. So to hide or show a widget, simply come down to the bottom of the widget section, and you'll see this hide show section. The main things you'll need to worry about are this drop down right here where you can choose whether you're trying to hide a widget or whether you want to show a widget. In this case, we want to hide that widget from the contact page, so we'll show hide on checked pages. And now you simply need to tell it what pages you want it to hide from. If you're doing a home page or the whole blog section or something, you can use this first tab under miscellaneous and select one of these. But if you're just trying to do a single page, come over here to post types. And then what you want to do is in this bar right here, you can search for the page you want to hide it from or show it on. So in this instance, we're trying to hide it from the contact page. So I'll start typing out that page until I see it show up here from your list of pages on your site. So I'll click contact. It'll now be added into here. And if I click save, if I now come over to that contact page and refresh it, we will now see that that widget is hidden from the sidebar. Conversely, if I only want it to show on the contact page, from the drop down, I just choose show on unchecked pages, click save, and we'll now see when I refresh that widget is back here on the contact page. But if I go over to a different page like the reunion page, that widget is now hidden and we don't see the cabins widget as we've set it to only show on the contact page. So that's how you can easily hide and show widgets from pages and main sections of your website. If you need to do this from a custom post type like activities or specials, it may be a little tougher, and in that case you may need to contact us to complete that.